You do not get that kind of transparency when you're talking about the money that Mercedes spends, the money that Mercedes gets because of the value that these workers create.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
The latest on the UAW campaign in Alabama, we know that the workers at Mercedes in Vance, outside of Tuscaloosa, are closing in on 50%. They have already hit 30% cards signed. Cards signed meaning, when I say cards, I'm meaning authorization cards, and so those are documents, either electronic or in paper, that employees sign stating that they authorize the United Auto Workers to be their union. It's a card that says, like, it's not a card that says I want a union election, right? That's not what an authorization card says. An authorization card says I authorize the UAW or whatever union to be my union. This is who I want as my certified bargaining representative, right? That's what these cards say.
And by the way, if you're an auto worker, go to uaw.org/join to find out how to sign that card.
Exactly. uaw.org/join to sign one of them cards. So in Mercedes, like I said, they've hit 30% cards signed, almost 50%. They've already hit 50% in Volkswagen in Tennessee. But the Mercedes executives are running scared about this, and so they are holding mandatory anti-union meetings. Michael Goebel, who oversees production, this is from Bloomberg. The title is Mercedes U.S. Executive Warned Against Unionizing at Mandatory Meeting, UAW says. This is in Bloomberg by Josh Idelson, is the author. You can find it. Good work by Josh Idelson. He always does good work. So, okay. Michael Goebel, who oversees production in North America and is Chief Executive Officer of Mercedes-Benz U.S. International, addressed employees Thursday at the company's factory in Vance, Alabama. Goebel suggested that unionization would mean work stoppages, costly dues, and obstacles to conflict resolution. Obstacles to conflict resolution. Absurd. According to an audio recording reviewed by Bloomberg News.
Well, I mean, he's being honest. It is an obstacle to resolve their conflicts, right?
In the way that it's an obstacle to resolve the conflicts in the way that they would prefer, which is that they get exactly their way and have to not listen to their employees.
Right. It's kind of like the Bill of Rights is an obstacle for some police officers.
That's true. That's true, actually. Yeah. So there you go. I don't believe the UAW can help us to be better, Goebel said. Mercedes-Benz said the meeting was a routine one where multiple business topics were covered. Yeah, super routine for a chief
executive officer to show up in Vance, Alabama.
Right. Super, yeah, just totally routine. This happens all the time.
He probably was just curious about Alabama spring football, was in the neighborhood, wanted to see what's going on with the new coach.
Exactly, yeah. I'm sure that's what it was. This German, right? A German guy, super interested in what's going on in Alabama, the Alabama football. Yeah, totally. In addition, our CEO gave his opinion on the UAW's current campaign. In addition to this totally standard, meeting where other business topics were addressed and, nothing, totally normal thing. It just and just over the course of the meeting, he was like, while he was there, I'll give my opinion on the UAW campaign. A company spokesperson, Edward Taylor, said in an email. In doing so, he emphasized that the decision on unionization is ultimately up to each individual team member, and we must respect each other's opinions. Mercedes will continue to share facts and opinions through open and direct communications to support our team members in making an informed decision. Mercedes official principles include a section on union rights stating that the company and its executives shall remain neutral in the event of organization campaigns. It also says, quote, the trade unions and the company will ensure that employees can make an independent decision. I don't know about you, but when I think of somebody staying neutral, I do not think of somebody coming in and saying, quote, that their workers, quote, shouldn't have to pay union dues. I believe you shouldn't have to go through strikes, years of negotiation, or complicated processes to communicate and resolve conflicts. Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. Yeah. I don't think that doesn't sound neutral to me, right? We actually heard earlier in the program Hank Johnson's version of neutrality in Georgia, where you're just not going to say anything about a union campaign in your state, even though you're a member of the Congressional Labor Caucus. Insane. Absolutely Looney Tunes. But, look, at least that is on its face neutral, right? I mean, Hank Johnson is officially being neutral. Now, I think that there's an argument that, neutrality in the face of, this kind of stuff is really, support for the bosses. But nevertheless, his official position and his statements are neutral. He is not saying, I'm neutral, and then going to the Delta facilities and saying to the workers, I don't believe that you need a union. I don't believe that, I don't believe you should have to pay union dues, right? That's not neutral. Obviously.
That's anti,
obviously. Yeah, so in Thursday's remarks to employees, Goebel said workers, quote, shouldn't have to pay union dues that generate millions of dollars per year for an organization where you have no transparency where that money is used, according to the recording.
So they just lying.
Yeah, absolutely, just lying. Because you have infinitely more transparency about how unions spend their money than you do corporations, right? Obviously, unions, U.S. law, and Idelson, to his credit, he's a good reporter, mentions in the very next paragraph, U.S. law requires unions to disclose information about their budgets and spending.
And there is some democratic process to some extent, right?
Exactly.
That varies from union to union. Some is more democratic than others, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera. But bottom line, somebody's voting on it.
Exactly. Somebody's voting on it that you have some indirect, direct or indirect say over, and whatever is spent, you can find it, right? And some unions make it easier to find than others, but even if your union doesn't want you to find it, you can find it because it's on the Department of Labor's website, okay? This thing is super transparent, way more transparent than companies, and in fact, at my union meetings every single month, we have a treasurer's report where I see every single cent that comes into my union and every single cent that leaves my union. And then I get to vote on whether or not to accept this treasurer's report. I voted last month on 2024's budget. Every single cent allocated. We debated about it. We discussed it. We heard explanations of why the executive board wanted to spend money in this area and that area. And then we as a union voted on it in a meeting that was open to all members, right? Way more transparency. You do not get that kind of transparency when you're talking about the money that Mercedes-Benz, that Mercedes spends, the money that Mercedes gets because of the labor, because of the value that these workers create. Totally different worlds. Just lying, like Adam said, just lying. Goebel also said it's important that we all respect different opinions and different viewpoints and to not let the team become divided. Quote, being a high-performing team and family is not always easy. It takes everyone's opinions being respected and considered.
Right. There's some people who are right, and then there's some people who are wrong. But I guess we should respect and consider all.
Yes, exactly, yeah. We all know what management is doing, and this is, again, from the article. We all know what management is doing. They are panicking about us winning our fair share and winning our union, Mercedes employee Jacob Ryan said in a statement from the UAW. The campaign has already caused the company to make improvements such as raising pay, Ryan said. Quote, Mercedes clearly only listens when we organize, and we're going to keep at it until we win a better life and win our union. In addition to that, reactions that the UAW shared with Bloomberg, we reached out to a Mercedes employee, and we're sent reactions from other members and assessments from the workers about other workers' opinions after this meeting. And so one worker said, quote, they know they're doing it because of the union and they still want it. Speaking of the workers know that Mercedes is doing it because of the union and the workers still want the union. Another person said of the workers, they're not buying it. Another person saying of the company, they want to control what we deserve instead of giving it. A person said of the CEO, he's a laughing stock. A person said of the CEO, it took him 5 years to realize he wasn't doing right. Another person said of the meeting that it was a glowing endorsement of the union. Another person said people saying he tried to buy votes, and a lot of people saying that's not getting their vote now. Too much crawfishing and lies, talking about the company. Another person said, I still want those UAW cards. So there we go. That's the meeting and the reaction from the employees. Good reactions there, and appreciate the employee, the UAW worker organizer, sharing those with us. So there we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.